We got a fake dead dad.
We're so sorry, Chris.
You know what that means? We can have 2 dead dads.
Oh, what's this?
Uh-oh. This guy looks, your beard's kind of clipping there into your shirt.
I kicked you 3 times. Who are you?
You got to kick them 4 times to make sure they're dead. Everybody knows that.
I need to get upriver.
You have to get at least 4 in before you take their hooker charm.
Hell, it was 3 days ago.
That's kind of weird. Like the Alhambra token never really gets explained. Like, how does it work? You show it. Is it like a coupon? You know, you show the token at the Alhambra and you get 1 free whore.
It's like beer tokens at the bar. You go at happy hour, you buy a few, you leave with them. You put sex on layaway.
Well, I mean that's what they don't tell you in the fine print. The sex is extra. The token is just for the whore, just for her company.
It's just for a talk job. That's why his father had it.
Well, that would be perfect for Holden Caulfield then. Wow, that joke went way over your head, didn't it?
No.
Oh.
That book is just disturbing.
Well, we're back, and we got this mysterious fella, Honest Tom, gonna show us how to ride. I actually really like the horse controls in this game.
I'll give you a chance to run around a bit before we wager.
They kind of feel like more like a standard motor vehicle than they do a horse, and I think that's why I like them so much, because they are so unrealistic.
So gas, brakes, clutch, you know, the usual.
It's, well, kind of. I think it's more like you're able to, just because you're able to so effectively turn on a dime and to stop so effectively.
All right, let's see you attempt some jumps. Rest your spurs for a spell, and the horse will revive.
I mean, I do like the realistic horse controls in Red Dead Redemption, but this has a better feel to it overall because it's so loose.
Plus, Neversoft's All-E game is on its top right now. You know.
Yeah.
How good you really are. Let's race.
All right, so we got to go over to the race start, but Tom takes his sweet time getting over there.
Oh, flashbacks to Zelda.
Oh, this won't be the first flashback to Zelda you'll be having. Oh, Tom, I don't think that's the... I think you're not facing the right direction here.
Tom's gonna race off the cliff.
Tom always cheats, so we're gonna cheat just as hard. Take a shortcut, but oh, nope. The game doesn't let you cheat.
Oh.
I've heard that harmonica way too many times, because that plays every time you get a game over.
3 laps round the meadow.
I'm starting to believe that Honest Tom is an ironic nickname.
But hold on, you can quick start him if you time it right. Cheaters never prosper, eh? But you still can't like you still have to go around the meadow. But there are 2 separate paths, and I'll be showing both of them off. Yeah, I had a little fun with the subtitles here.
Come on, giddy up.
I couldn't help myself. I'm gonna be, you know, being not quite as loose with the subtitles in future videos, but you know, just to start out, because I'm still learning Adobe Premiere, so this is my way of sort of teaching myself how the text options work.
This is the training ground.
Yeah. So this is the outer path that we're taking, and then there's the slightly inner path, which is faster, but you have to do those 3 jumps. So it takes more skill to take the shorter path. And if you cut it any further than that, it triggers that game over that I showed off earlier. Like, yeah, like if you try to like go inside, like cut the corner inside that rock there, that's the boundary for game over.
Aha.
So you see that the meter on the bottom there, that's your horse's health. Every time you spur your horse, it will lose some health, and it will regenerate over time. But It takes a while, and it won't regenerate if you're galloping.
Follow me. You gotta kill at least 5 of the
Also,
buffalo
check this
for
out.
every
We
dog.
can kill buffalo with a horse,
Yes!
which
That seems wrong somehow, but
it's biologically impossible. I think a horse weighs like maybe a half or maybe like a third of what a buffalo does. We gotta get a specialist here to confirm. Also, yeah. So here's the next section. We gotta shoot bottles here.
Try shooting at 'em from horseback.
I have some trouble with this section, at least at first. And then things start to get a little iffy, because this section is supposed to end here, but Tom's not reacting properly here. He's already supposed to trigger his dialogue, and I'm kind of stuck.
Honest Tom just soft-locked.
Yes. I had never had this happen before, so I was trying to figure out what the hell to do. It turns out, like, this would be a soft lock. I would have to restart the mission. Turns out the only way to get to resume the checkpoint is to kill your own horse. Because Tom's horse is invincible. Because Tom's horse is invincible. There is an end mission option, which restarts the mission. But, there's no, like, restart from checkpoint.
If you whip me on this part, then I'm gonna have to give you my horse. Them pesky
Oh,
wolves
more
are back
wolves.
to scavenge. You can use spur or trample.
See, this makes more sense. You know, using a trample attack to kill wolves makes a hell of a lot more than to use it to kill buffalo. I still can't...
I'd like to see the horse against the bear in Mission 1.
I can't remember whether there are any bear in the wild. Any bears in the wild. Like, I know there's more wolves and coyotes, and there's like plenty of other animal types that you could trample. I can't remember if there are any bears though. I'll have to check. I assume that it would take maybe a couple of trample attacks based on this game's logic, but you would eventually be able to kill it. And yeah, with the GameCube C-Stick, not great for shooting from your horse.
To be fair, the C-Stick wasn't great for much.
Yeah, especially not for aiming in third or first person shooters. Well,
Kid, you win fair and square. Be kind to her, will you?
I will.
She's been a good animal.
Thanks. Come on.
oh no, who could possibly have seen this coming?
God damn it took you long enough.
So much fun.
I can't tell whether that's supposed to be sarcastic or not, because it seems like such an honest delivery of that
He's
line.
got an Alhambra token on him.
Oh no, Honest Tom betrayed us. I never would have seen that coming at all. And he's got 2 accomplices, so we got to shoot them off of their horses, and then Honest Tom just sort of spawns like further around the map here.
Further up the way.
Yeah, and he's actually a lot tougher than his accomplices because he has a more powerful rifle. You have to sort of lure him out here and then use a quick draw. You can alternatively just shoot his horse out from under him, because now that he's a bad guy, his horse is now actually vulnerable to bullets.
Obliged, Tom. If I pass this way again, I'll be sure and throw some dirt on you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Poker missions. Pony Express.
Yeah, those are all missions. So as I mentioned before, this is open world, and it's a pretty small open world, all things considered. But yeah, this is the starting area, Blackfoot Camp. And what's this over here? This looks like yellow snow. But
No.
oh nope. Never mind. We can't mine gold yet. We don't have a pickaxe.
It's just on the ground.
Yeah. But we can't do anything with it yet. We need a pickaxe. That's how gold mining works, right? I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
So we got to go over to Dodge City, which is in New Mexico.
Take this little trail.
Yeah, I'm going to be fast-forwarding through some parts and fading out through some others. Oh, look, there's another patch of gold right there, just sitting there.
Can't do anything with it.
Yep, that's one of the collectibles that we're going to get for 100%. So, this is the character that Nolan North is credited as in the credits. Does this sound anything like him to you?
You know, with Nolan North, it's hard to tell.
I mean, he does have a pretty good range, but there's a certain timbre to his voice, and I'm not hearing it. When the actual cutscene part ends here, you'll kind of hear it a little more, but for that initial cutscene section there, it doesn't quite match up.
Dodge City. Take the token to the Alhambra Saloon and ask for Jenny. That's what Ned said just before he died.
Also, turns out Ned's not actually my father. What the hell's up with that?
My not father bought me a whore before he died.
That was a really nice, almost about to die present he gave me.
Plan on getting out of town until it blows over. I'm sure you'll be fine. Have a good one.
Now, it might be Nolan North, but it's hard to tell. I'm picking up on the fact that the audio mix is a little across the board on this game.
Oh, yes. I've fixed most of the audio problems in future videos, but I left it mostly untouched in this first video. So this is the first city. This is Dodge. We're in I think this is Dodge is in New Mexico, I think. I'm gonna have to double check that. And the next city that we're going to is in New Mexico. Anyway, here are RPG elements. Where we can only...
Because of course you need those.
Yeah, we can only improve these stats by completing side missions and certain story missions as well. Also, we don't have any items yet, but we're going to fix that pretty soon. We're going to go over to the shopkeep and buy some stuff, because we start off with some money. Also, for some reason, just buying stuff at the store counts as a side mission.
Just received a new shipment of goods. Have a look.
Now remember, kids, $40 was a lot of money back then.
Oh, it was a shitload of money back then. Oh my god, a scalping knife.
Ow! Ooh!
Yeah. So scalping doesn't actually do anything. At one point in development, there's an Indian trader you could visit later, and at one point in development, you would be able to trade in the scalps of your enemies for cash.
No.
Thankfully, that never got past the development stage. Also, hey, let's go back to the operator. Now that we've got our pickaxe, we can go back and get those gold.
Son, the ferry's out of commission.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Nolan North!
He did say that was his last run for the day, but, you know.
How did he break it in 15 minutes and 5 feet?
Anyway, we got some gold over here. That's fine. It's just sitting there. So, yeah, as I was mentioning before, thankfully that idea for selling the scalps never got past the conceptual phase.
You look like the adventuring sort, but are you daredevil enough to ride for the Pony Express?
I'm pretty sure this guy is Fred Tatasciore. He's done a lot of work. He's played the Hulk a couple of times. In Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 4, he was the male voice filter for all of the Beauty and the Beast unit.
Really?
And in the Wonderful 101, he played Professor Shirogane with pretty much this exact same voice.
Poor fella's so big, he can't walk from one end of town to the other.
So they start us off pretty easy with this first Pony Express mission. We just gotta walk to the other side of town where Tiny Tubbs is waiting for us. Also, I think he's also voiced by Fred Tatasciore. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Not rain, nor sleet, nor gloom of night. I forget the rest of the Postal Service creed, but we got that letter there.
I do believe the shopkeep has everything I need.
We gotta get some food for this guy. in my initial notes, I was going to rail against this guy for wearing a necktie, but apparently the modern version of a necktie was first seen in the U.S. around 1860. So, nope, can't blame them for historical inaccuracy on that particular detail of an NPC model.
They got one piece of history right so far. And it's neckties.
I'm surprised I just don't see a Buick parked somewhere at this point.
Wanted George Whiskers Mahoney for the wanton murder of an Empire barber following a bad beard trim. Known to be found gambling in the Alhambra Saloon.
They're all this dumb.
I hope when we find him,
Yeah.
he's got a soul patch.
So these side missions are the only ways to make money, and I think this is the reason why the Indian trader trading the scalps was cut, and not because it was racist. because that's just how the game's economy works. So here's George Mahoney. I accidentally killed him, so I had to restart. So you can get him dead or alive. This is I accidentally grabbed him there. So we subdued him here. The thing is that the way that the mechanics work for subduing is the same way that you grab human shields and then execute them afterwards. It's the same button press, which is really weird.
Oops.
But when you're dealing with these missions, it's subdue, not execute.
Okay, so it's context sensitive.
Yeah, let's go play poker. This is Texas Hold'em, which is completely anachronistic. It didn't develop. It didn't develop until like the 20th century, and then didn't become popular outside of Texas until I think the 1960s. Anyway, I cut most of this out, but I just wanted to show it off just for one round. The poker tournaments are one of the things you have to do for 100%. If you play really aggressively, generally speaking, you'll just lock them into a situation where they will either go all in on really stupid hands, or they'll just keep folding, and you can just sort of chip away at their funds. So,
Well, you got a good hand at least.
there's also something else that you could do, but it's disabled on hard and insane. You can only do it on easy and normal. I'll be showing it off later. I was really concerned when I was doing this footage, because I was like, where's this other option? Like, it's in all the FAQs. It turns out it's just disabled when you're playing on hard. So yeah, I tricked these people into going all in on a crappy hand. So I won $10. I won $10 for my efforts. Wait, there's a piano man here. I'm pretty sure that's just a self-play piano, and he's just trying to show off for the whore over there. Okay, excuse me. Get me a drink, bartender. There, that's the tab with no name joke for this LP. Getting it out of the way early.
I'm looking for Jenny.
I got a hooker coin.
Yeah, before Bitcoin, they had hooker coins. So this lady is Princess Sally from Sonic AM.
Where'd you get this?
She was also Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Told me to come here and ask for you.
And she sounds suspiciously like Dexter's mom from Dexter's Laboratory.
Feeling a girl that used to work
Oh,
here.
I thought you were talking about Dexter the serial killer for a second.
Above the bar.
Yeah, they just commissioned a nude portrait of one of the prostitutes working at the bar. That sounds completely normal.
My father, he and Sadie were both.
It was a different time.
Up north.
Also, you'll notice that Cole is still in denial that Ned was not actually his dad.
How long we gotta wait before we get a proper poke?
Till
Yeah,
I
this guy's name is actually Rude.
another drink on me, and I'll be with you shortly.
He ain't getting a poke before us.
Let go
That's
of
not a
me!
real gun.
Not till I'm done with you, bitch.
That's your finger. That's your finger, Rude.
And
Okay, that's not his finger.
at least it's his gun, and not something else. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. For those of you who were watching the cut commentary, yes, I did just sub in the word "bitch" with Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 3. I was having some fun there. I'm sorry. And for those of you who are watching the uncut commentary, you can watch the cut commentary by clicking on the link in the description. Double the viewership. Anyway, yeah, this part's really hard. Even on hard, and it's absolutely ridiculous on insane. Like, this was... I almost gave up here when I was first doing my my insane playthrough a while back. You don't get a checkpoint until you cross, like, right about here. Like, you have to kill these guys first and then cross, like, over where those bosses are. And that's the first checkpoint. Also, I just made that guy's head explode.
Headshots are amazing in this.
So yeah, that's where I got a checkpoint there. Also, I didn't know this at the time, but apparently there's a hole in that wall over there, and you can use it to snipe enemies. Yeah, I'm not subtitling these enemies unless it's really important dialogue. It's just, yeah, one has limits, you know. So yeah, this part is really nerve-wracking because I had already wasted a good 10-15 attempts trying to get through here, just getting ambushed by enemies, rounding corners, and at short range they can kill in 2 hits.
I think you just wrecked Barry Burton.
Well, I mean, my gun is very powerful, especially against living things. So, I mean, if you're playing on easy, you can, if you're planning it right, just run right upstairs and save Jenny. You don't have to kill any of these enemies as like part of a flag or something. But on hard and insane, you pretty much have to kill them just to stay alive.
Get this asshole off me!
Now you're pissing me off.
Makes for some excitement.
You'll be leaving here in a gut bucket.
I listened to that line over and over again. I think it's gut bucket. I don't know.
Come over here. Better show you this now before the rest of the Red Hands show up.
So the Red Hand Gang, I think it's a reference to Red Dead Revolver, which had come out the year before. The main protagonist of that game is Red Harlow, and he has a red hand. His right hand is red. It's burned because he tries to pick, as a child, he tries to pick up a particularly hot revolver to avenge the man who had just killed his father. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but given the fact that the 2 games came out very close together. Also, look at this. Look at that.
That
is amazing. It's a sprite on top of glass effects, on top of not even bothering to make a shattered window. Oh hey, a new gun.
That was poorly done, guys.
But at least we got a new gun out of it. We got our fake dad's gun. It's a Schofield. Most of the guns, the new guns that you get are like straight upgrades from previous weapons you get. There are some exceptions to that, but we won't be seeing them for a while. So there are arsonists coming in. They're working for Crude, who's the brother of Rude, who we killed earlier.
We're not very original with our names, folks.
Yeah, incidentally, Crude is the only character who Fred Tatasciore is credited for. The guy who was playing Earl, the guy who ran Pony Express.
Thing like you learned to shoot like that.
You get the feeling that they just gave these guys a list of lines, put them in a hat, shook them up, pulled them out.
I get the feeling that they threw them into the air, activated quick draw, and shot them, and whichever lines landed closest to the voice actors who were sitting in a circle, they were assigned. So there's a couple of stages to these wave of arsonists who are trying to burn down the Alhambra. You want to watch out for the guys with torches. They're the important ones. They're the ones who could actually do damage to the Alhambra itself. The other ones are just trying to kill you and Jenny. Jenny will also kick the ass of anyone who comes into the Alhambra, but eventually she will start taking damage. Jenny is actually, all things considered, Jenny is fairly competent as an NPC ally.
She is the hooker with a heart of gold and a 6-iron.
Yes, and a
I'll call
shotgun.
in the bucket brigade.
Oh, that's even better.
And yes, bucket brigades were a real thing before, for our younger viewers. Before the advent of fire hoses, there would be this brigade of people passing buckets of water from one person to another. Also, look at that bullshit. This guy's iframes. His horse ran over me.
Oh.
From the front. Take out the arsonists.
I didn't know that when I was recording. So yeah, bucket brigades. Yeah, they would just pass buckets of water from one person to another, and that's how they would put out fires in ye olden days of 1880.
This is back when people had this thing called upper body strength.
And also when they had, well, they still have dirt wells, but when they had more dirt wells.
Into the firebox with the horse.
It's all gonna burn.
There's Crude again.
I got it lit. Folks are gonna pay for your mistake.
And yes, you can trample other horses, and if you trample enough, it will cause the other enemy to fall off of their horse. Oh look, that looks safe. There's some whiskey just right over that crude oil. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's just an object rather than, you know, actual whiskey.
They're attacking the east side.
I love this game so much.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's pretty ridiculous.
The best bad games are the ones that are genuinely fun to play that just have ridiculous premises. I think like they're not the ones that are genuinely bad. It's just the ones that are ridiculous.
Burning down. I got it lit. The Alhambra is burning down. Please, God.
God's not gonna hear you, buddy. And if he is, I don't think he's gonna have very nice things to say about you, seeing as your last dying action was to burn down a whorehouse because you wouldn't settle for sloppy seconds. Or even worse, it was your boss who wouldn't settle for sloppy seconds, and you're following his orders blindly out of sheer loyalty.
Come on, bastard.
You're dead, boss.
Actually, no, it's the brother of the sloppy seconds boss.
Mongo is only pawn in Game of Life.
Let's settle this thing. If you got the balls.
That does not sound like Red Tattoo at all. So you would think that this is gonna be like a dueling minigame, because Red Dead Revolver had one where you would have a quick draw dueling minigame.
Duel mechanic, yes.
Nope, punked ya. It's just another fight. I wish that this game had a dueling mechanic like it did. Like, even Red Dead Revolver had one. Red Dead Redemption had an amazing one. And Red Dead Revolver, it had a pretty good one too. And it was pretty similar to the one in Redemption, just not as refined. Also, as you can see here, Quick Draw has its limitations. It sometimes has some issues registering the hitboxes of enemies, even if your cursor is right above them. Right on top of them, I should say. Also, the entire gang has a collective health bar. I was trying to figure out if I could grab this guy, but no. Yep, I could, but you have to melee them first or shoot them once. Anyway, mission complete. And we just got another weapon. We barely.
This is another game where they just load them on, isn't it?
But the thing is that they actually have more weapons than Ninja Blade did.
Hell no. I'm gonna hire you.
This guy is Phil Proctor. he's been around in a lot of games. Though I know him best as Warren Vidic from the early Assassin's Creed games. He was the Templar scientist who was in charge of the creation of the Animus. Also, I'm pretty sure her hand.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that her hand just clipped through Cole's arm there.
Jenny, can you keep a secret?
I'm a book of secrets, honey.
I was on that steam.
This also reminds me of that one part of Town with No Name where you can't sleep with a prostitute until you've taken a bath.
A week ago, a reverend named Reed
Oh, look, we now have a name for the Reverend. His name is Reed.
come from Empire.
Then I'm going there with you.
I know the mayor of Empire. His name's Hoodoo Brown.
Hoodoo Brown was a real person, and according to the historical records of what he looked like, what was he? Oh yeah, ugh. I physically cringed in real life having to write out that subtitle. And we're going to be seeing a lot of cringe in the next video. Oh boy.
I look forward to it.
Yep.
D in quality control has some explaining to do.